the cloud. So let me introduce Miss Sherri Carr, National Executive Director with Pampered Chef, who lives at Dream Acres. That's located in Valparaiso, Indiana. Sherri and I met at a cooking show that I had in Naperville, and she had wanted a party in November when her family was going to be in town. And I had 2 cooking shows on my schedule per week, and that was my limit. And I told Sherri, well, I could fit you in January. I said I could fit you in January. She said, no. And I said to her, well, then why don't you just do it yourself? And I will let you take over from here, Sherri, and give your version of the story.
Oh gosh, I remember that so clearly because I wanted not one apple peeler course slice. I wanted 2, one for me and one for my parents who had an apple tree. And at the time I had given up my job. I was home with 4 little ones, and I did not have money to buy one, let alone 2 of them. And I remember saying, well, let's see, I don't remember you saying you should try it. I remember saying, well, maybe I'll just do it myself then. So regardless, somehow, because Marie couldn't fit me in November, I ended up being a consultant. And I think I promised her I would do 4 parties and said something like, but after that, you probably never see me again. So
right. And I said, yes, it was going to be your,
okay,
your way.
Whatever works for you. But I think Marie is such a good mentor. She's the one that was like, hey, come to the meeting, meet these people, show off that quick little snack that you do for your kids at home. And she had a good way of drawing me in and making me feel important and special. So I'm still here, for that reason and for a lot of reasons. But I did love the parties. I did love, I still do, doing parties, being around people, and not so much for the entertainment. Like Marie said, there's the one end where you're an entertainer, and there's the other end where you're more of a thinker, planner. And I just felt like I learned so much, and it saved me so much time, and I was able to feed my family so much smarter and healthier that I needed to tell everybody. I just needed to tell everybody and show everyone how easy it was to do that. So that was my passion. I didn't know I signed up under anyone. So, I really knew nothing about direct sales. My mom was one of those that said, hey, you don't go to those because you're going to feel pressure. So I never did. So I was a mom of 3 kids when I went to my first party. But by the time I started Pampered Chef, I was a mom of 4 with a 9-month-old being the youngest. So I didn't know anything about it, but I knew it was fun for me. It was great to get out for a night. I probably one of those unusual people that I never, ever had a problem saying, you should try this with me. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. I'm doing this and this and this, and you would love it too. So I never was afraid to ask people to try the business. I was a little more hesitant to ask for bookings. Don't ask me why. It's probably a mental thing here, but never a problem with asking for people to join me. So anyway, that was why I started. I loved sharing the tips and ideas and really helping families change their lives, change so much about the whole family situation. So fast forward 33 years now, I guess, and still I still love that part of it, like being able to show people the new products that we have that makes their life so much easier, so much more fun, so much healthier. I can't even tell you how much fun it is to take out a package of seasoned chicken from the sous vide and cut it and let everybody taste it and just hear them go, oh my gosh, that's just amazing to taste that. Some of you are smiling, so I love that you feel the same way. So like Marie, when life happens, and my life is pretty crazy too. We have our 9th grandbaby due here in a couple of weeks, and we just a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old boy just spent the last 5 days with us, and I literally dropped them off. My husband and I, probably 30 minutes ago at preschool this morning, and the parents are picking them up. So if I feel or sound a little discombobulated, I just spent 5 days with a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old little boy. So I said, I don't remember it being this challenging when they were my kids, but it's fun.
And Sherri, I just want to say that's the beauty of our business for all of you younger people here. You're creating a lifestyle where you can be available to your kids. So at the beginning, you were available to your young preschoolers and a husband who was doing a lot of traveling for business, and you were involved in a lot of things at church. And then during the busy days when they had college and high school activities and sports and the other, this business can really work around your family life for a lifetime. So I'm really proud of you for always staying balanced. You started to work around your family and you stayed true to that. And I commend you for that.
Thank you. Thanks, Marie. And I really feel like that's true. I never wanted to look back and have regrets. Like I regret that I didn't do A, B, C, and D. And I feel the same way. I don't want to regret time that I didn't or couldn't spend with my grandkids or whatever it is. So, and I'm laughing a little bit because Cindy Johnson, thank you, Cindy, just texted me something a while ago and said, hey, what do you think about this? And I said, I can't think right now, Cindy. I'll talk to you later. I just had these kids here. And you know what? Cindy's not going to fire me. So that's the other thing. You can take time off when you need it, or you can say, I'm overwhelmed with something else in my life. And anyway, so Cindy, we'll get back to that topic.
So the reason I asked Sherri to share is Sherri had an incredible week and she is working smart. And she actually, she'll tell you the story about how she started doing some shows in her own home. And I know that there's a bunch of people on this call, and you may also have consultants who are considering the pros and cons of doing some parties in your own kitchen. So, Sherri?
We'll get to that part, sir. So the day, I usually would always have a big open house after sometime around Thanksgiving. So for the last 4 years, I hadn't done it, or maybe 3. So this year I did it the day after, and it was a party in my home, open house kind of style. But you have to think through so many different things because you're like, oh man, I'm going to be the host. I'm going to be the consultant. How is this going to work? So I kind of rethought my strategies and my systems for doing that. So I did it then, but I also kind of made the decision that I wanted to show things like the blenders and the mixers and the sous vide. And it was so much easier for me to show off those tools in my own kitchen. Could do some prep work. I could stock that sous vide a couple hours ahead of time. And the fact that after 33 years of carrying things, I just felt like I've done that enough. So it's kind of like throughout my career, it's like, if it's not working for me, rather than quit, find a strategy that makes it work in my business. And this was the strategy. I will do a couple of shows in my home. So I did the open house and I set out a table of things that I would give away. Like any booking that happened, you could pick one of those things off the table and take with you that night. So I got 3 live parties and 2 virtual ones that day after Thanksgiving. And when I looked at the schedule, I'm like, if I'm going to do 2 or 3 live parties, I want them all close together. So I put them on a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, so that I could set up for it. And I know that's harder when you do have little ones around, but even that weekend, when usually we always have Friday night with our grandkids, I'm like, okay, we're doing our pizza in the basement, not in the kitchen. I set it up for the week and it just stayed there. So, so then January rolled around, and I'll show you some of the things that probably easier for me to show you than just speak it. So Marie, I'm going to probably share my screen. I could tell you the results. First off, let's see, I wrote them down so I could tell you. One of the ladies that was there, because I used the blender twice. I made soup, and I made, for my open house, I made the butternut squash soup, and I made hummus board. So one of these ladies, probably she's 72 or so in our church, she said, I just got to have that blender. I just want that blender. That's all. I just want the blender. Because we talked about all the different, I don't have to tell you all of that stuff. And I'm excited about it. I use it 2 or 3 times a week too. So, and most of the people that booked wanted the blender. So the Tuesday party was 1,200. The Thursday party was 1,200. The lady that only wanted the blender, her party was 2,400. And then the virtual party that I did the same week was almost 1,700. So they were all great parties because I think they are seeing those products. And of course, you can hear my passion too. And I think Kathy Cocazella is so smart when she talks about bookings and the business. She says it just has to be 3 things. The first one is fun. You know, it's got to be fun, and you got to let them know you're going to have fun. This is going to be fun, even if you have to tell them. And the second thing is, here's what you're going to learn. You're going to love knowing about X, Y, and Z. And the last thing is, here's what you're going to take away. So if you can remember those 3 things for your live parties, your virtual parties, whatever kind of parties you're doing, I think that's super important. So when I'm live with people, it's easy to kind of call on people and have someone try the tools and make it fun for people. I'm always a hands-on. I do the demo person. It's come on in, wash your hands, let's work together. So that part's easy to make it fun. People love cooking together. What you're going to learn, that was pretty easy. I have the blender I was so excited about. I had the new cookware. I had someone buy the whole set of cookware that I could talk about. And I mean, truly, I think if you use these products, you can't not be excited, right? It's exciting. And if not, we need to be using our products more. And the last thing is what you're going to take away. And I love, Kathy Cocazella shared this, and I didn't realize it. If you use a number and what you're going to take away, it's more like powerful. Like you're going to have 5 new recipes that are quick and easy to put on your table. You're going to have 7 new ideas for whatever. And most of those, if you notice on our blog, and you just put type in when you're doing a search, type in 5. And you're going to have something come up that says 5 new blah, 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 or 6 or 8 or budget friendly recipes. And so that's the takeaway. You're going to get these to go when you leave. That's what you're going to take away besides the ideas. So someone will have to help with questions. Live in the virtual parties. I do a little bit of live, but it's usually just a quick little demo in a virtual party.
So we're talking about the week that you did 3 live parties, and you had a system when these hosts booked with you. And I know that you can screen share, Sherri. So there you go.
I will do that. Just kind of, all right. So let me just open these. Okay, so the first thing you can see these, but the first thing is when I sat down with them, we did all the cooking, we sat down together, and I had the little folder, the notebook that said, here's what's going on. Here's the specials, so like we did years ago. This I set out, this is when you can come and do your party. Either I've got these 2 days in February, these ones in March, these ones in April, and I've chosen to do just 2 now. 3 was more than I wanted to do in January, but they wanted the double points. So it's right there. So I used that. So the second thing, let me open up the second thing, is what I gave my host afterwards. So, you're going to get these. Hi, I'm going to use Susan because she's the one that had the 2,400. Hi, Susan. Here, there are plenty of mini catalogs for you to pass out. Carry them with you. Pass them out to everyone over the next 2 weeks. The typical host coaching, less than a 4th invited. Okay, these are all typical host coaching things at the top. So on the back of the catalogs, I put 3 labels. 1, how a QR code works. And then I've taught her how to use it. So here she is. She's 73 years old. I'm like, you got to learn how to use this so you can teach people. Here's a QR code to direct your friends to ordering. And then here's the ordering link. And I wrote it on a label so they can type it in if they want to. And then I gave her some catalogs and told her to keep one. So this is the part about, I think Marie was saying, the system. Here's what you do. Okay, Susan. Okay, Marie, you're coming to my house to party, so I want you to be here 15 to 30 minutes ahead. Here are the things that you need to bring. Plates, napkins, silverware as needed for the recipes, whatever cold drink that you want. I'll have water and coffee. You can even bring wine if you want to, Marie. That's no problem. If you want to bring any additional snack or food, I'm not going to cook for everybody. We're going to do those 2 recipes, but you can bring chips and salsa if you want. If you want to make your famous chocolate cake or your amazing chocolate chip cookies, Marie, you could do that. Be sure you bring with you any orders you've collected. And then if there's something in particular that we talked about on the recipes, please bring that. In case your friends have any questions about pets, yes, we do have a dog. She'll be in another part of the house, but we don't have cats. So you don't have to worry about allergies for cats anyway. So that's Marie's letter then, along with, I gave 80 mini catalogs and I put labels on all of them. And I just told them to pass them out. And if you have any left, go ahead and mail some out if you want to. So that was my letter for that. Any questions about that one? I think it's pretty self. And then after that one, just maybe a week ahead, I know one of their things was, what about food? What about food? I'm like, we're going to get to that. Right now, it's most important that you invite. This is not new for you people that have been, for all of us that have been here a long time. So about a week before, this is an email. Hi, Susan, I'm getting excited. The plan for food is this. I didn't let them choose. I said, this is what I'm planning. If it doesn't sound good, let me know. I like to I'm telling them, I'm going to show off the appliances. They create the wow factor and guests love learning about them while seeing them in action. Okay, here's what we're going to make. We did sous vide fire roasted chicken over spaghetti squash because it's nice, healthy. It was January, super easy. So I got to use the air fryer for the spaghetti squash, and I got to use the blender. I got to use the multi-cooker. Here's a reminder of your list, same thing. See you about 20 to 30 minutes ahead. Any questions, please ask. So that's what she got. So now I still have this dilemma. I'm kind of hosting, but I'm also the consultant. So what I did from that, so when people came in, I had catalogs out. Let me find this last one, and I will show you that one. Okay. So let me see if I can you probably can't, can you see the whole thing or not?
I'm only seeing part of it.
Okay. Let me see.
There you go. Now you're scrolling.
Let me see if I can make it smaller so you can see all of it. Okay. So this is a front and back form, and I taped it on the front of every catalog. And so the host could easily greet her friends at the door and say, oh my gosh, here's what you're going to do. We're making this easy for you. First of all, make yourself, I didn't put name. Oh yeah, make a name tag. Because I want to know people's names. I like to say, oh my gosh, Brianna, that was a great job. Way to go. You're going to jump in to help cook. You're going to wash your hands. So, Marie, if you were my host, I could say, Marie, greet people when they come in. I may or may not be close by, but this is your party. Greet them, have them put their name on this catalog, make a name tag, and then say, your whole deal here is to check off all the boxes. Okay, so enjoy yourself. We're going to cook together, and then when you're done, this is a half a sheet. Okay, so I had 2 fronts, 2 backs, and then when you're done, your drawing sheet is on the back. Put your name, email, and then I had a couple questions for them about joining my recipe club and joining my Facebook group. So you can see what they are. Let's see if there's anything that's jump in and help cook, wash hands.
Was there a booking one that a question, Sherri, or no?
Yep, right here. Check out the table with free gifts. You may pick one when you schedule your party or order a starter kit.
Gotcha.
So then that's where the bookings came. I'm like, you guys, you go check that table that's right there by the front door. If there's something on there that you love, that's a booking gift that helps Marie's party, and it helps me fill up my schedule too.
Love that. That is genius. Somebody, Christy Lesovic, just said, this is genius, even for cooking parties at other people's homes.
I mean, it's one of those, like, you can't, you could say all this once if everyone was sitting, teacher style at a table, and you could hear, but you can't, it's hard to catch every person and say the things that are important to you.
Can you give us an idea of what you actually cook? Because the question came in the questions, did the host pay for the ingredients, or did you? How did you work that?
I did. I paid for those, but I mean, it was probably the most expensive thing and all that was, well, for like hummus, it's 2 cans of beans and a couple of vegetables. I did carrots and cucumbers, I think. Pretty much all. For that sous vide chicken, it's a can of 3 chicken breasts was probably the most expensive thing for that. Spaghetti squash is not much. It's a can of fire roasted tomatoes. It really wasn't much. And they all said they would. So you could say, oh yeah, I have an amount for you. I said, I am happy to do this here. It saves me from carrying my products different places. But they're bringing the beverages, they're bringing a dessert or another snack or idea. So the things that I actually used to prepare those really probably didn't cost very much. But I think that is something that you can choose to do.
One of the questions was what kind of things were on the thank you for coming table, and what were the kind of things that you put on? This is what you'll be able to take for booking your show.
Yeah, and I think that's complete and individual too. I definitely use, like, the stranded goods things that Marna always talked about, like, okay, I've got this, it's been in a box, it's been in my shelf forever. So right now we just got new products. Most of our leaders, directors have 2 sets. Use some of those things, an extra square baking pan, or it's your choice on which ones. I'm happy to be kind of slowly getting rid of a few more things. That's on my booking and getting started table. My free gift was all the things you would probably give as a door prize at a regular show. I had some quick cut paring knives. I had some pan scrapers. I will take, let's see, do I have one here? I'll take some of my taste buds. I don't know if you can see this, but I'll put the card. Can you see it? I'll put the card in a clear sleeve, and I'll put the seasoning behind it. Because I don't use all of my taste buds. So these are super popular. And then I get to talk about the taste buds too. So just little things like that. And if you couldn't see that, I'll hold it up later. I just make them look a little bit prettier, and then I get to talk about it. Yep. So that goes through that. Grab your thank you for coming. That's a thank you for coming. Enter the prize drawing. And I still have, do I have it right here? I think so. Like, my prize drawing sheets are really cool. I can go back and put, because one of my questions is, is there something that you saw that you'd like to maybe check out later? So I can go back and look at those, or I can fill in and use them for bookings as well. A lot of people still want to check out with the computer with, my daughter was here and she helped me do the checkout process, but a lot of people use this QR code at the bottom too. But the reason I really wanted this to have a drawing on it is because if people did end up leaving without, then I still had their information. So those are the things I used, Marie. I'll stop sharing, and this is what, if you weren't able to see this. So recipe.
Yes.
And that's on the back.
And that's a clear envelope.
This one actually has some snowflakes on it, but I tried, you can see the little snowflakes on it, but clear snowflakes, and I just got them at my girlfriend's house, kind of thing. So yeah, we definitely, from the party that what I did, I had the 3 bookings. I've had at least one from the other ones. I'm not in a place where I want to do a ton. I'm sorry about that, but I want to make the ones I have just fun, exciting, and make it seem that they're really special, that they're getting to have one of my dates. So, and I've really considered if 2 people wanted to do it, they could co-host on the same day, but then I would say that you have a limit. You can only have 15 people here, or whatever it is. So, comments, questions?
So I have a comment and a question from the chat. So my comment is, don't apologize for doing 2 in 1 week and only doing 1 week of cooking shows per month, because I think you're leading and leaving a legacy, Sherri. If people can figure out how to have a vibrant business going alongside, this is ideal. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is ideal. If you could do a $5,000 week in your own home and not leave it, and then get booked for the next 2 months right there and then, why, this is exciting. And for people who want to do more, they might have 2 weeks of cooking shows, or they might have a full virtual in addition to their cooking week. So the question was, oh gosh, now I have participants. What happened to the chat? There was
there's a question I see about thank you for coming gift. I have it in a big bowl right by usually like by the, if I'm doing any orders right there.
There was, the question was, I struggle to get bookings when I don't do a full service checkout. Can you walk me through this? Do they grab the booking gift and come to you to book? How do you capture the bookings or interest? Or maybe what do you say during your show to end it up?
I usually will say, I don't do a lot of talking during it, but when I go through my notebook, it is one of the sheets that is in there about next month or this month. I still could fit you in this month if you want to do a virtual party. I'll just say, I mean, I've never chased anyone out the door to do a booking, but I would be happy to. One of the things that I did, and I can show you that in the next little segment, is figured out what my average was. If I was going to do with my show average, and actually I used a lesser one than I have. If you use a $700 show average, which I think is the company average now, that's a $700 show is $140 and free, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think I figured that right. So if you're going to do 6 shows, you take 6 times 140, that's 840. You can say, I mean, typically I will do up to 6 shows a month. That allows me to give away $840 of free products. Do you want to be someone who gets your part of that? That's between, that was not in a double free month. So in my little information about what they get, like in my virtual party, I put that. Each month I give away approximately $840 in free products to 6 people, shared between 6 people. Would you like to be one of those? And then you have to definitely put a disclaimer like, this is Sherri's party average. This is using the numbers of my party average. You can't, so don't use mine, but you need to make sure that you're not promising something that you can't prove by going back through your numbers.
There was another question, Sherri, about how do you get people out of your house and not keep them from lingering?
That's a good question. I just start doing dishes. I'm like, okay, well, if anybody wants to stick around and help me do dishes, let's go. Most of it, I'll just be putting in my dishwasher anyway. So one of my parties it took a while to get people out, or I'll have my husband come in, he'll be coming in and like, okay, not that he has to say anything. Usually when the family starts coming in or whatever, they'll think, oh, we better go. So if it's an evening, it's usually fine. If it's the Saturday morning one's a little harder. So, yeah.
Now, Sherri, do we want to stop the questions on this? Because you also have some things to share about how you've upped your game on your virtual shows.
Okay.
Should this be one big thing, or should I stop the recording and restart it?
Whatever, maybe it's a whole different subject, I guess.
Your call.
We have another person speaking too, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah,
let's just go ahead and continue. I'm going to say, let's go ahead and continue.
Okay.
And we will just make a note at what minute marker Sherri changes subjects. But one of the things that Sherri shared, one of the things that Sherri shared, and she could go back to answer any questions, is how she's also scaling up using her live cooking parties for other things, but then also has created a way to make her virtual parties a little more, I don't know, engaging, successful, effective.
Easier. I did see someone about, or I guess I want to comment one more thing about getting people to leave. It's usually the people that are hanging around that are going to be my next bookings and my next consultants. So I don't try to be too pushy. If I'm only going to do 2 parties a month in my house, I'm not going to try to push people out the door. So just FYI on that one, I don't. but I don't have little kids to put to bed either. So it's a little bit of a different situation than some people might have. So the virtual parties, so switching gears toward virtual, I felt like, like we all struggle. You get some system in place and then it's like, oh, Facebook is playing dirty or mean or nasty or whatever. You get something in place and then things change. So most recently, and I apologize for anyone who doesn't have Project Broadcast, this has to do with Project Broadcast and the landing pages. So if you are in Project Broadcast and you are using landing pages, what I did was took, like, if I want my virtual party to be 4 days, I took about 4 different topics, like a topic, like today's topic is on appliances. And I put together what would have been in a virtual party, it would have been 7 or 8 different posts or videos, like all strung out throughout the day. And I just plugged them into a landing page. And then in my virtual party, I would say, today's theme is about our appliances. You are not going to want to miss this. This can be life-changing. And if there's only one thing that you open today in this party, it's open this link. It's a secure link. And then it's a landing page that actually talks about and does all those things that, and I've just started this in January too. So I can show you one of those. So, and then what happens is, you can do the @everyone once a day. So that's the one, this is the important post. This is the one you open if you do nothing else today. So that virtual party, and I talked to the host afterward because she said she didn't want, someone asked about if your parties are far away. She lived too far from me. So I offered the virtual. And she didn't want to do tables. No, I'm just used to Facebook and so are my friends. So it's a way to simplify the Facebook party. Let me see if I can. I did not really cue this up, Marina, where it is, but let me see if I can find it really quickly.
We're good.
Let's see. And it's just, I've only used it once. So
But it's a brilliant idea, and I think it's.
Yeah, I like it.
You guys can, so this was her party. There were 26 people in it. This is the one that this virtual party ended up at $1,600.
Wow.
So let's see if I can find one of them. I'm going to have to scroll a little bit. So I did put some things in, like, oh my gosh, put this in. I put in some, but I didn't. Like, I had her put in some of the fun things. I didn't worry about, I did I cook on Sundays with my grandkids a lot, so I'll put some of those in, but nothing but big. Let's see. This is the end of it. I'm going to go back and find.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Let's go shopping now. Let's see. She put that in for me. The end, I just kind of tossed a bunch of things in, so sorry about that. The post of the day, here we go. You have a ton of Pampered Chef already. Your drawers and cabinets are full, but you love Pampered Chef and you want to help Brianna have a great party. I've heard these things a few times. This could be the solution. Just like Pampered Chef spends hours making sure they have the best tools around, we spend countless hours creating a great pantry. So check out, hey, by the way, Marie, I don't know if they said this at Executive Sem, but I think it was 18,000 customers who order pantry have ordered 10 more times pantry from their career.
Wow.
So it's worth spending some time on. So this is the Project Broadcast landing page I was talking about. So basically, this is the post of the day to click on. So when they click on it, welcome to the pantry. Here's this. Here's our mixes. Learn more about each by clicking the pictures below. So if they want to learn more about it, they just click it and it goes to the website. So instead of making a click here to take the Enrichables quiz, that's online. Here's the subscription. So now I could put the special in there. So it's not super long, but it's meaty and they're going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Let me just go to the one that has the specials. I also do the specials that way. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. Let me grab this URL for that. And I'll just open it in a new one. So I think it says, this is the one post today that you have to open, pretty much. I think that was like the 4th day, so I didn't do as big of a ways to save in February, okay? So that's when they open it, this is what they see, instead of a whole bunch of different ones.
Yeah.
Gift with purchase, free shipping. This one, can you guys read it okay?
Mhm. Yes.
Each month I give away $840 of free products split between 6 lucky people. Would you like to be one of them? And then I put my name in it. Picture, okay, February. February is an amazing month to host or become a consultant. Click below. So that's it. And then at the end, here's where, can you see this?
Into the prize drawing.
Yeah, enter the prize drawing. So it's just a form, Google form, learn about being a consultant. This is in my way, you know how the little black bar gets in the way. Learn about hosting a catalog virtual or in-home party. So if you click these, like this one, it just goes to my website where it says host a party, and they can fill out their name, address, and all that. So anyway, so just using that landing page is kind of a simpler way to highlight one thing to make sure they look at each day in a virtual party. So that, I don't know, it's a game changer for me because I'm not worrying about what to post so much. So
Well,
that's
Sherri,
it.
thank you. I know that you'll post some of the, and you'll be able to, when Genevieve talks, to be able to look at the questions, and maybe we can circle back at the end.
Okay.
I think Sherri was willing to put some of her supportive material into the Monday morning chat page. So I am going to stop our recording. And we will, yes.